Looks like now you can sell your fart, make some money, go to space, and call yourself an astronaut. Don't take this as an offense. I mean, these people are wonderful people and have done great things, but think about it. Anyone with around $240,000 to spare can call themselves an astronaut. Now, take this as an offensive statement. You can't buy yourself an astronaut tag. Hey everyone, welcome back to Physics Space. And today we are talking about Katy Perry, Blue Origin, and why this flight isn't the giant leap for science you might think, but why it's still a small step towards something bigger. Buckle up, let's launch into it. This week, headlines lit up with the news that pop icon Katy Perry will join Blue Origin's next spaceflight. An all-woman crew soaring to the edge of the space. It's a story that feels ripped straight out of a sci-fi anthem. Glitter, girl power, and gravitylessness. But here's the question we all are skipping. Does this mission actually matter for science? Or is it just another celebrity moment in zero G? First, let's talk about what this flight actually is. Blue Origin's New Shepard isn't heading to the orbit, the moon, or Mars. It's a suborbital flight, a quick 11 minutes up and down. The capsule climbs just past the Carman Line, that's 62 miles up, lets everyone float for a few minutes, and then parachutes back to Earth. It's less the Martian and more a really expensive roller coaster. Now, compare that to what we usually call science in space. Think ISS, astronauts growing crops in microgravity, Hubble peering into ancient galaxies, or Perseverance drilling on Mars. Those missions answer big questions. Can humans survive long term in space? How did the universe begin? Is there life out there? Blue Origin's flight. It's not designed to answer those. There's no lab on board, no experiments, no new tech being tested. It's a tourism gig, a breathtaking one, but tourism all the same. This flight will just cross the real space and get back. This is no science experiment. You might wonder what exactly is real space for scientists. In technical terms, extended orbiting, where spacecrafts attain and maintain velocities around 7.8 kilometers per second, enables sustained experiments that monitor human physiology, fluid dynamics, and advanced materials under microgravity. NS-31, with its brief journey, simply isn't built for this level of research. Instead, it opens the door for those rare, beautiful moments of wonder that inspires millions. The real space border, often referred to as the edge of space, is generally considered to be the Carman Line, which is approximately 62 miles or 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface. This line is named after Theodor von Karman, a Hungarian-American engineer and physicist who first proposed it as the boundary between the atmosphere and the outer space. The Karman Line is not a physical boundary but rather a theoretical one, marking the altitude at which the atmosphere becomes too thin for spacecrafts to generate lift. Look, I'm not hating on these joyrides. If I had $250,000 to spare, I'd buy myself a ticket too. But let's call this what it is, a VIP ticket to the edge of the space, not a science revolution. Now, the all-woman crew angle is getting a lot of love, and it should. Representation matters. But here's the bittersweet truth. Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman in space 60 years ago. Sally Ride broke barriers 40 years back. Today, women regularly command the ISS. So while it's awesome to see Katy Perry and crew making headlines, this isn't breaking new ground. It's a symbolic victory. A reminder that space should be for everyone, but let's save the confetti cannons for when an all-woman team lands on Mars, okay? Think of this like the first time a celebrity flew on a commercial jet. It didn't make the plane faster, but it made people think, hey, maybe I could do that too. That's the real win here. So you can say it's an achievement for Blue Origin's marketing team for sure. Let's rewind to 1914. The first commercial flight lasted 23 minutes, cost a fortune, and went 21 miles. Critics called it a rich man's gimmick. Fast forward a century, and airports are busier than cities. Space tourism is in its 1914 era. Yeah, it's clunky, pricey, and kind of frivolous, but every tourist flight funds better tech. Every celebrity passenger normalizes the dream, and slowly costs drop. Safety improves and innovation sparks. Elon Musk didn't build SpaceX to send billionaires to space. He did it to fund Mars colonies. Jeff Bezos, he dreams of space hotels. The road to big science is paved with rich tourists. So, while Katy Perry's flight won't cure cancers or find aliens, it's a stepping stone. It keeps public passion for space alive. And passion, that's what funds NASA, inspired kids to study STEM, and gets Congress to care. But let's keep it real. Critics aren't wrong to ask, should we spend millions on space tourism when Earth's on fire? Rocket emissions are nasty for the atmosphere, and dropping 250,000 on an 11-minute flight feels dystopian when folks can't afford healthcare. Fair point, but here's the counter. Progress isn't zero sum. We can fight climate change and explore space. In fact, satellite tech helps us monitor forests, oceans, and emissions. The challenge? Making sure space tourism grows responsibly, like cleaner fuels and pushing for accessibility. At its core, Katy Perry's flight is a story about access. For decades, space was locked behind government programs and astronaut applications. Now it's becoming a place for artists, tourists, and maybe someday you. Will this flight teach us anything about black holes? No. But it might inspire a 10-year-old girl to pick up a PhysxX book. It might make a teenager think, if Katy Perry can go to space, why can't I? Remember, Apollo missions weren't just about moon rocks, they were about proving humanity could reach beyond our limits. Today's tourism is tomorrow's infrastructure. Those new Shepherd rockets, they're the Model Ts of the cosmos, clunky prototypes before the real journey begins. So, no, this flight isn't science, it's a spectacle, a moment, a spark. But sometimes sparks ignite fire, and one day those fires might light the way to the stars. Thanks for watching. Agree? Disagree? Drop a comment. Let's debate. And if you want more deep dives into space, science, and spectacle, hit subscribe. Until next time, keep looking up.